Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. So in this video, we're going to discuss Geeks for Geeks problem of the day, and today's problem is frequency game, and it is an easy level problem. So the problem is very straightforward. It says that we have been given an array of n integers, and like it is consisting of only positive integers, and we have to find the largest element with minimum frequency. So basically, we have to find the element with the minimum frequency, and among those elements with the same minimum frequency, we have to find the largest among them, right? So the solution to this problem is very simple and intuitive, but the thing is, like they have mentioned the space and the time complexity to be O of n only, and let's see what can we do about it. Although like the very straightforward solution to this problem does not like happen in O of n, it takes n log n, but let's see what we can do about this particular time complexity, right? So let me just discuss an example first. Let's say you have some elements, you have 1, you have 2, 2, 2, and let's say 3, 4, 4 and 5, right? So you see that we have 3 number of 2's here, so the frequency of 2 is 3, the frequency of 4 is 2 here, and all the other elements have frequency 1. So the elements with the minimum frequency, and that frequency is 1, are 1, 3 and 5, right? Among these elements 5 is the greatest, so 5 will be the answer of this particular test case. Right, this is how the problem works. So it is very obvious that we somehow need to store the frequency of all these elements, right? So there are actually two ways of doing this. The first way is create a vector of integers, right? So this will be my frequency array. Since my elements are only up to 10 to the power 6, so I'll create a array or a vector of 10 to the power 6 plus 1, and I'll initialize all of them with 0, right? So this will be my frequency array, right? And in the worst case, my complexity will be O of the a of I, the maximum value of a of I, in this case it is 10 to the power 6, and the value of n was initially 10 to the power 5, right? So I don't think that there was much difference in these two values. I believe that it should have worked, but this gave me TLE, this particular approach gave me TLE where I was trying to create a frequency vector. I'll explain in a while, like also how we can solve this question with this particular method, because I believe that this will work on other platforms, but the time constraints are usually a bit weird on Geeks for Geeks. So this did not work in this case. We'll discuss how we can solve with the vector also, but the only other solution to store the frequency is by using a map, right? This is the only thing that we have left now. So map of integers comma integers and frequency map, right? So either of the ways, the first step is to like store the frequency of all the elements. Now since we have got the frequency of all the elements, what do we actually need to do, right? So we'll have to maintain two things. First of all, we'll have to maintain a variable called minimum frequency. So let's say we have a variable called minimum frequency and we have an answer variable. I'll initialize this variable to some bigger value, let's say 10 to the power 6. Why? Because there are only 10 to the power 5 elements and no frequency will be able to reach this particular value. Now, in case of a vector, let me just discuss this particular approach first. So let's say we have a vector. So this is index 0, this is index 1, this is index 2, index 3, index 4 and 5. We are not concerned about this particular index at all. So let me just like cross it. Now element 1 has frequency 1, element 2 has frequency 3, element 3 has frequency 1, and this has 2, this has 1. Right. If you try to traverse from right to left, right, in this particular order, the only thing that you'll have to do is you'll have to check whether the current frequency is less than the minimum frequency. In this case, you do two things. You update the minimum frequency. Let's say you update this particular value and you update your answer. Right? How are you going to update these two values? So the minimum frequency will now become the current frequency and the answer will become the index. Right? And you'll have to do it only when the current frequency is less than the minimum frequency. Right? But remember, instead if you're traversing from left to right, right? If you're traversing from left to right, from smaller to greater element, apart from checking this, you'll also have to check else if the current frequency is equals to the minimum frequency, current is equals to minimum, then you will have to update your answer. Answer is equals to max of answer comma current index, let's say I, right? So you will have to take care of these two things. If you're traversing from bigger to smaller value, you will always have the bigger value first, so you no need to like worry about it. But if you're traversing from any other order, not necessarily left to right, in any order in general, let's say the elements are scattered and you're traversing them in some random order. So in that particular case, you'll have to use this particular condition whether the current frequency is equals to minimum frequency or not, and in that case, you'll have to update your answer as maximum of answer comma current value. Right. So these are the two things that you need to take care of. Right. So this was the solution for array. The exact same solution will work for maps as well. The only thing is, you just, instead of creating an array of frequency, you'll have to create a map of frequency, right? So if you try to traverse the map, if you try to traverse with the forward iterator, it will traverse from smaller to bigger values. If you try to traverse from the bigger iterator or the reverse iterator, it will traverse from bigger to smaller values, right? This was like all about how we form the answer. But what about the complexity? I believe like there does not exist any other solution apart from these two solutions. You will have to like store the frequency somewhere. There are only two ways. I tried this particular way, it gave me TLE, although I don't think that it should give me TLE. Anyways, I tried this particular method and it worked. The only thing that we can do to bring this closer to O of n is making it an unordered map. In C++, we also have an unordered map, which is a hashing based solution of the map only, right? So hashing also creates a vector or an array, right? So each like index does not directly represent 1, 2 or 3. It represents a hash of some kind. So anyways, that worked for this particular case, and unordered map is the best thing that you can do. Although unordered map also does not guarantee O of 1 access time. In the worst case, it can also go up to O of n square, right? Operations can also go up to O of n square, but we just assume that in this particular case it is going to be O of 1, and this is the best thing that you can do to solve this particular question in O of n. I don't think that there exists any other way apart from these two methods to solve this particular problem, and if you use a like ordered map, it will be n log n, right? So I will discuss both of the ways. Now let me just like show you the code for this particular problem. So what I have done is I created an unordered map. Even if you take it as a map, it should also work, and I just like taken the frequency of all the elements. I initialize my min frequency and answer variable. Answer is -1 initially and min frequency is 10^6. So I just traverse to the map, and in case the frequency is less than the minimum frequency, I update my minimum frequency and I update my answer value. In case else if both of them are equal, the current frequency and the minimum frequency, I'll update my answer as maximum of answer comma current value. So at the end, I can just return my answer. And this was all about today's problem of the day. Let me just show and submit this particular problem and show you that it works. So you see that it passes all the test cases, and you see I also have a couple of wrong attempts, and that is because like I was trying like different ways of solving this problem. Although none of them worked, this is the only way that worked, and that was all about today's problem of the day. I hope that you guys were able to understand the solution. If you guys did, then consider dropping a like on this video. And I see a lot of people who watch these videos have not subscribed yet. So if you're one of them, then consider subscribing. It's always free of cost, and you can always unsubscribe if you don't find the videos interesting later. So share this channel with your friends. Until the next video drops, keep coding, stay safe, bye bye.